Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. For today's video I wanted to do a quick care guide for chubby frogs. They're also known as the Asian painted bullfrog or the banded bullfrog. So adult frogs can typically reach 2 to 3 inches. The females are usually larger than the males. These frogs are found throughout Southeast Asia. So if you're thinking of keeping one of these frogs, they can be kept in 10 gallons, 15 gallons, and 20-gallon tanks. Make sure the tank has more floor space than vertical space, so you'll want to get a long tank. These guys are ground-dwelling frogs, so having height doesn't really benefit them in many ways. For substrate, you want to have 3 to 4 inches, because they like to burrow, so you want to have enough substrate that they can burrow down and hide. I use a mix of cocoa fiber, leaf litter, sphagnum moss, and some repti bark all mixed together. You want to keep humidity around 60 or 70%. They do like high humidity. Just be sure that you mist the enclosure every day to keep the humidity up. Try to make sure that your substrate doesn't become soaking wet, because this can promote mold growth, which can cause other problems. You'll want to provide a water dish for your chubby frog. You want to make sure it's a pretty heavy dish so that they don't tip it over when they're digging. But you also want to make sure that your frog can easily get in and out of the dish. So you don't want to be so deep that they have trouble climbing out once they're in. And be sure you dechlorinate any water that you use for your chubby frog. So there's a range of temperatures that these frogs can be kept at. Many things say between 70 and 80 degrees during the day, with temperatures falling to 68 to 64 at night. I keep my chubby frog at about 68 at night and about 72 during the day. It's not necessary to have heat lights for these guys. Heat lights can potentially dry out the enclosure, but a heat mat along the back of the enclosure set to a thermostat can be a great way to add a hot spot for your chubby frog. As far as lighting goes, I just use a LED desk lamp, and that provides a day and night cycle for my chubby frog, so they don't really require any really fancy lighting. Chubby frogs eat live insects. You should be sure to provide them with insects that will fit in their mouth, like crickets, waxworms, mealworms. I've seen people feed them superworms before, earthworms. So you want to feed them live insects, so they're not like Pac-Man frogs and other frogs that can eat large prey because they have a large mouth. These frogs have a fairly small mouth, so you should be feeding them things like insects. Chubby frogs have the potential to live 10 years, so be sure that when you get one of these frogs, you're prepared to care for it for quite a while. Chubby frogs do have the potential to be noisy. Mine is a male, and I have heard him making noise at night. So be sure that if you have a chubby frog and it is a male, that you keep it somewhere where it won't keep you up at night, or just be prepared that there's a potential that they could make some noise. Even though chubby frogs are a ground-dwelling species, they can climb a little bit. I've seen my chubby frog climbing on the plants and climbing on top of the cork flats. So keep in mind that at night, they do become a little bit more active and they might climb around. Chubby frogs have sensitive skin, like many amphibians, so just know that you can't handle your frog and play with them. You'll want to make sure you provide some hiding places for your chubby frog. I wouldn't go out of my way to buy actual hides for them like you would for like a leopard gecko or something. Mine likes to hide under these cork flats and cork bark. So cork bark, cork flats, plants, fake plants are all great things for your chubby frog to burrow under and hide under. If you're using live plants, know that when they're burrowing, they could uproot the plants. This could cause the plant to die or cause the plant to fall over. So if you're going to be using a lot of live plants like I have, just know that your chubby frog might dig them up. Another thing I want to add that I feel like gets overlooked is calcium powder and vitamin supplements. You should be dusting your chubby frogs, crickets, and other bugs with the calcium and vitamin supplements like you would be doing for your reptiles. I hope you guys enjoyed my video. These are all the things that I have learned over the years of keeping a chubby frog. If you are new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in my next video.